Alrighty, what we're going to do now is just give you all an overview how to start something up in Logic. This is the icon. When we first open up Logic, I'm going to go right here to New from Template. We usually have it under Empty Project, and we'll start there, or Music for Picture, but I'll start the Empty Project. Once you open up Logic, the very first thing you'll get is this dialog right here, software instrument. You can pick what type of instrument you want. These will be the list. External MIDI for keyboard, audio, drummer, guitar, or bass. Right now we're going to go to audio. It'll tell you your device right here. Usually I'm at a universal audio device. But right now I'm going to click this right here, and I'm going to do internal. Built-in microphone. The buffer size, we'll go over that. This is usually if you have it down. The lower the buffer size, the least latency. That is the delay in your voice. So right now I went up here, got the dialog, I went to audio because right now we're working with loops. So I'm going to pick create. Avoid built-in speakers, avoid feedback. Gotcha. Connect headphones. Give you this dialog because so I don't get a feedback. Check one, check one. So what I'm going to do right here, this right here is your inspector library where you can pick out different instruments, help desk, toolbar, smart controls. Smart controls are used if you want to control, like for instance, if I had a compressor up here, if I move some of these knobs, it'll move. You see this, the compressor amount, it moves your threshold, your EQs and things of that nature. And this is your EQ, and this is for smart control. We'll get into that later. And again, you have the mixer to where it'll have your mixer over here. These are your knobs, a small version of the mixer. The mixer is just a list of tracks that you all have on this side and on this side. What I'll do right here, let me get rid of that one. This is your arrange window. These are where you bring in tracks. Excuse me. This right here is your bars, beat, divisions, and clock. What I usually do is put it on custom so I can see everything. Over here with blue label, that is an EQ that's already set up. I'm going to get that out of there. I want to have everything just dry, meaning there's nothing there. So very first thing that I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go to track, and I'm going to go to configure track header. So you track numbers, color bars. I want to see the color right there. These are different track headers we can do. Get that out of there. And let's go to track again, global tracks. I want to configure my global tracks. Right here you see arrangement, marker, signature, tempo. I don't want tempo. I don't want signature. For right now, I'll just use marker, or take out, I just want to have movie. We'll just do movie right there, and I'll just leave movie right there. And I close it, so that'll leave this movie tab. So for this first project we're bringing in just basic tabs. This right here is your drag smart. Usually when I want to drag in audio, I'm putting it on sample so I don't have a lock feature. This brings your track, which is this will be the track. This brings it larger so you can see this is the length. So it'll go from 1 to infinity, or wherever you have it out here for the track, not necessarily infinity. But right now we're going to click and hold. I'm going to open up a movie. Go to my desktop where I have this movie, Justice League movie. Looking right there, it's about 2 minutes and 38 seconds. It'll give you this dialog. Open the movie that contains the audio track and extract the audio. I want to do both. it's going to give you the frame rate. It doesn't match the project frame rate. Usually what you can do, I'll go back on the screen where that is, where my movie is. I can double click it, bring up QuickTime. I can push Command I, and this movie's at FPS, frames per second, 23.98. So I'm gonna get back into Logic, and I'm going to use 23.98. So what that does, as you can see, it brings in the movie with the audio on a separate track. It's locked because I don't want to move the track right now, but we'll get into where you can move the audio around or unlock it. I'm going to push Control, click on my mouse, and I'm going to shrink down the movie slightly. So right here is the audio track. We can play it.
There is a stranger who comes to this village from the sea.
What I want to do is see where the editor edits and clips or cuts his film. So I'm going to click and hold Movie. I'm going to go to Create Marker Set from Scene Cuts. Again, I'm going to click, hold Movie, Create Marker Set from Scene Cuts. I'm going to give Logic a little bit of time to go through and analyze. And this is what all needs to be done on the first project. And as you can see up here, it'll show the scene cuts. If I spread this out, usually these are labeled scene 5, scene 6 is a different cut, scene 7, there's different cuts through here. So what I would like for you all to do is bring in some sort of melody. So right now I'm going to mute this track out. There's audio loops right here where you can bring in, you can type in, I have mine enabled because they're on a separate drive. I can type in cinematic, and it'll give me different sound effects, electric pianos, you know, whatever we have on here. I don't know any of the loops that are left. This arrow means that they needed to be downloaded, but this is where you will pull in your loops. You can type in like dog to give you dog bark, things of that nature. You can type in strings or sad. You can type in different words, sand, sad, chainsaw, you know. So what I want to do, I have some sound effects on my desktop. So I'm going to go right up here. There's the loop icon. I'm going to go to all files, go to my desktop. I'm taking the long way around. Right here it says True Cinematic Samples. So this is a third-party sample. I know that I gave you all some. But I'll go down here to Waves. I want to go here to, let's see what the strings are. Push this. I kind of like that, so I'm going to click and drag this into either right here or right here in this gray area. So when I bring in the movie, so it stops right there. You can push Command R to copy it. If you put your mouse up here, it'll loop it, but you can't do fade in and fade out when it's looped. You can shrink your file, and then the new Logic, they allow you to see where you left off at if you want to shorten it. What I want to do right now, if you look up here, it shows a marquee tool. I want to go down to the fade tool. These are your control tools. So to get this one, right now my tool shows an arrow because that's the first selection. To get this one, I'll hold Command rather, and I'll be able to hold up top. You see how it changes to that tool by holding Command, and I'll fade in, return twice. And so if I want to go to this scene, I can use comma and period. The scene, if there's no music, it stops right there. But I want to have that again. I can do Command R, number of copies, auto. There's a fade right there. I don't want that fade, so push Command to get that out the way. So what I'm going to do, see how that pumped in right there? I'm going to go up here to my drag. It'll usually say overlap or no overlap. I'm going to crossfade. I'm going to bring it right in here. So when you see these scenes, you can add in different sound effects. Like right when that scene changes, when I have some sort of a brass or some other sound that may be impactful. So I'm going to click this triangle. Let's go down here to brass and see what we have under the waves. And I'll just give you an example of how we're going to bring that in. So I'm going to bring this brass, again I'll have it at the bottom right here, and I'll slide it right, click that to get out of the way, I'll put it in right where that scene comes in, where he's looking at whatever that is in that cave. So I'm clicking and moving it right there, and let's see what it sounds like with both of these loops. And so I want to bring that in about right here so they can match up slightly. Fade in a little bit. Again, I'll grab the back of this and you can see where it'll fade right there. I'll push Command so I can fade this guy, and I'll fade this one in. Let's see. Just triangle, see how this sounds. And so each time where you see someone's face, it can be a different sound effect, a chime. Let's see if I can find a loop, something that says dirt. Sound effects, here we go. I like that dirt sound effect. I want to bring it in where that guy dumped the. So this is about, as you can see, this is a frame 2611 where he's dumping the sand. So I'll go down there, hold my dirt and dust debris loop, and I'll put it right there. So right where it shows the splash, I'll get that in there. And these are just examples. It's not on point, but there's. I'll type in drinking. And these are just examples. And he drinks that water. Just to be funny. Ocean, things of that nature. And this is what you all would do. I like that sound of up here to give you some real estate. Bring that ocean in. So right where I see that water, bring that in, and maybe I want to combine two oceans. Just combine them. So what I'll do, get rid of this to bring some real estate in, and so you see this area. I don't want it to be that long. So get out there. That yellow right there is a loop. It is a cycle button. So anytime you see that. So what I'll do, I want to stop it right there because I don't want the ocean. So what I want to do is go back up here to my tools. I'm going to go down here to scissor tool. Command, click, clip. And now I'm just going to delete it. Click and delete. So let's see what both those ocean sounds sound like. So I'll bring those in slightly. And I'm going to drag right here at the bottom because I don't need all that when it blacks out. This should just give you an example. Say for instance, if I want to give it a little bit more bass, and we'll get into that at a later date, I'm going to click where it says water on that track 7. You see this area says EQ. I want to cycle this, and I'm going to push S for solo. And so I'm going to cycle that for right now. And you see how it doesn't cover the whole solo. So what you can do is just pull this guy down, and it'll say set locators. Again, I went up here and I pulled this down, set locators. And so what that does is it allows me to cycle over the area that I selected. I'm going to do analyzer so I can see where my EQ is. This is your EQ. It's a panoramic EQ channel right there. If I want more bass on that EQ, highs and lows. Highs will be over here, mids, and this allows you to shape the sound. So for this first project, I just want you to have sound effects, show a little bit of fades, 2 different melody types. So let me get out of this loop. So we get out of there. Sorry about that. There's some change. So as you can see, there's a sound effect right there. Where you see everywhere where you see something, there could be some change. You can type in locks or chains. Chainsaw. Let's put key. I can even put this keyboard just to be funny. It sounds like a computer keypad. Let's get off mute. So you can slide that in there, comma. You wouldn't necessarily use that, but I'm just giving an example. So again, I'm gonna go back here and I want to pull out a different type of melody. Let's go to listen to this drum loop. I'm gonna drag that in there, and let's go somewhere else. Let's go to strings. So, give an example. I just want you all to have 2 different melodies. Go in sound effects. So I can add in, there's a drum sound. So when the gentleman walks in, I believe his name is Cyborg, I'm going to bring in the music when he comes in. Right when it fades in. And again, I can go up here, push the fade tool, and it'll just fade slightly in. I push comma just to see what it sounds like. Again, I don't want all the drums, so I'm going to click right here, slide it in right about there. So this is just an overview of the first project, putting sound effects and adding 2 different music loops in here. Control click, you can make the screen bigger. If you exit out, it'll come on this side or appear on this side. So when you save in the project, I want you to save as, and you're gonna save it not as a folder, as a package, audio files, because I brought in third-party loops, and you're gonna save movie file. Then it'll save that out and you'll be set. So that's an overview of what we did for the first project in Logic. We'll get some other things done for you all in a moment. We'll talk soon.